Right now, airlines ask for vaccine tests and PCRs, but if you come to Mexico, if you're entering Mexican territory, airlines aren't asking for anything. So if you go to Spain or Germany, you're requested to have a PCR test. In other words, people are taking care of those who are coming into their country, but they're not thinking about those who are leaving their country. So I'd like to see whether airlines could ask for PCR tests for anyone, regardless of whether they're leaving or entering the country. Thank you.
The same issues sometimes arise with screening measures, exit screening versus entry screening. For most countries, bilaterally, there are arrangements around which side testing or certification is done. And clearly, it's obviously better if someone is certified for travel before they leave, because they don't get on the airplane that they travel on or the conveyance that they travel on if they represent a risk. And very often the airlines are asked by the governments on either side to take up part of that responsibility to certify or at least check. So each government has a different arrangement. Sometimes it's the border control that do that checking. Sometimes the airlines are expected to do the checking as well. And certainly a worst case scenario is if there's no checking on departure and no checking on arrival, then that represents a potential risk. But my understanding is that in most cases, especially for the purposes of air travel itself, airline companies are checking the status of vaccination, checking the testing status of people before they get on planes. But it's important, if there is a gap that's been created between any country bilaterally, it's very important that countries work together bilaterally with the companies to close those gaps. So I can't speak to the specific issue in Mexico, but if there is a potential hole in the system whereby testing or appropriate checking of certificates is not being done, then it will be up to both the Mexico and the countries that they're dealing with and the airlines involved to work out a system that doesn't leave holes in the system.